let's just jump right into it. Today, we are unpacking a dark, high-stakes thriller where ridiculously overpowered ocular abilities literally determine who lives and who dies. So get ready, because we're diving into a world where your destiny isn't just written in the stars, it's floating right above your head. It brings up a completely chilling moral dilemma. If you knew for an absolute fact that someone was destined to become a monster, would you take them out before they even claimed their first victim? Well, that's exactly what we're looking at today as we track the intense, blood-soaked journey of a vigilante known to the authorities only as Number. He's the most wanted man in Korea, and he operates under a horrifyingly logical set of rules. So our anti-hero has these glowing blue eyes that grant him a genuinely terrifying god-tier ability. He can see a floating number above anyone's head. And that number? It's the exact amount of people they are destined to murder in the future. Naturally, he hunts these future killers down. But he has one absolute unbreakable rule. He never ever targets anyone with a 1 hovering above their head. Why? Well, it all comes down to his strict mathematical code, what he calls the rule of 1. To him, taking out a future murderer who is only going to kill one person is mathematically pointless. You're just trading one life for another. True justice means only eliminating those marked for 2 or more. And guys, he is utterly ruthless about this. Like, at one point, this eager journalist tracks him down, wanting to join his crusade. But the number above her head? It's a 12. So without even a second of hesitation, he eliminates her. To Number, the math is literally all that matters. But as we move forward into the story, an anomaly arises. Because as we all know, every rule has an exception. Enter Mo Ji-hyun. She's a high school student who is basically living a waking nightmare. See, her father was a notorious, real-life psychopath serial killer, and that dark lineage has turned her into a complete social pariah. Everyone around her just projects her father's crimes onto her, essentially waiting for the day she finally snaps. And, well, unfortunately, her bullies might actually be right. When Number finally tracks her down and locks those glowing blue eyes onto her, he doesn't see a 2 or a 12. Floating right above Jihan's head is an apocalyptic 4,000. Yep, 4,000. She is destined to become a literal walking plague, making her his biggest target to date. So he moves in for the kill, but then the impossible happens. An unhinged guy, seeking revenge against Jihan's father, attacks her best friend. Pushed to her absolute breaking point, Jihan grabs a knife, completely ready to take her very first life and fulfill that dark destiny. Number steps in to execute her, but right as she loses consciousness, the whole system just breaks. Her kill count violently fluctuates, plummeting all the way from 4,000 down to a single 1. This completely shatters Number's absolute rule. For the first time, he realizes fate can actually be rewritten. Totally shocked by the drop, he spares her life, throws her into his van, and kidnaps her. But this massive, traumatic event, it triggers something deeply hidden within Jihan. It's fascinating to see how their powers perfectly mirror each other. Jihan awakens with this glowing yellow light in her right eye. Now, while Number sees future murder counts, Jihan sees exact remaining lifespans. We're talking a literal countdown clock hovering over people, ticking down to the exact second. She essentially just became the ultimate human radar for his twisted mission. We get to see this dynamic duo put to the test during this incredible mall takedown. Ji-hyun spots a family with only 8 hours left on their clocks and quickly realizes they're being hunted by a deranged stalker. Working together perfectly, they intercept the guy at the family's apartment, narrowly dodge a lethal rigged gas cylinder trap, and neutralize the threat. Then, Number executes this flawless Batman-style rope descent right down the side of the building, escaping literally seconds before the cops show up. But taking down low-level stalkers is really just the warm-up. The stakes escalate massively when Number decides to grant the final wish of a past victim and go after a heavily guarded Yakuza boss who operates out of a packed nightclub. Through a photograph, Number confirms that this tattooed underworld boss has a massive 33 hovering over his head. That's 33 innocent lives destined to be snuffed out if he doesn't intervene. This sets the stage for a seemingly impossible brawl. Number just walks right into the lion's den, completely outnumbered by heavily armed thugs. And this is where his tactical genius really shines. He plunges the entire club into total darkness, and then uses his own future kill count like a compass. Think about it.
If he's about to make a fatal mistake, his own kill count would drop. So, by keeping his number stable, he is literally predicting the future, effortlessly dodging strikes in pitch black and carving through these thugs like an absolute machine. Eventually, he corners the Yakuza boss, but right before the boss bites it, he delivers a massive plot twist. He starts laughing, realizing exactly who Number is, and reveals that years ago in China, he ran into someone just like him, an albino girl who also sees numbers. His dying words are this chilling prophecy: "It will be a war between the lunatics who see numbers." Now, the mere mention of this albino girl acts as a massive PTSD trigger. Our stoic, cold, calculating vigilante completely breaks down. His brain just reaches its absolute limit, and he collapses. To understand why this hits him so hard, we have to rewind the clock and dig into his deeply buried, blood-soaked past. This brings us to the Orphanage of Blood. We finally get the chronological origin story of how Number was forged into the killer he is today. He grew up in this twisted, cult-like fairy tale orphanage run by a woman known as Mother Charlotte. Looking at the timeline here, 19 years ago, he arrived at this totally isolated facility without even a name. He actually bonded with a young albino girl named Soa over superhero comic books. It was almost sweet. But 14 years ago, that innocence was entirely shattered. Deranged teachers forced him and the other students to execute a bound hostage just to harden their spirits. And then, 12 years ago, the ultimate breaking point hit: the night of the Bloody Rebellion. This rebellion highlights a truly terrifying contrast in their ideas of justice. See, Soa, that albino girl, awakened an ocular power of her own, but hers saw lives saved. Fueled by this incredibly twisted savior complex, she fully believed she was the ultimate hero. So what does she do? She proceeds to slaughter the corrupt teachers and her own brainwashed friends just to rack up her saved score. Completely insane, right? And this is the crucial piece of the puzzle: Number's ultimate regret. As a kid, he saw these massive, unnatural numbers hovering over Soa's head, but he hesitated. He failed to stop her, and because of that one moment of hesitation, all of his friends died. That profound trauma is exactly what birthed his absolute rule of one and his zero-tolerance policy. He swore to himself that he would never, ever hesitate again when seeing a high kill count. All right, snapping back to the present day, we meet the final and, frankly, most dangerous piece on the board. Because while Number has been busy fighting the underworld, the authorities have been quietly closing in. And they're being led by a man who is every bit as supernatural as our anti-heroes. Meet Detective Moon, also known as Samuel. He possesses the red eyes. This is a super rare ocular ability that allows him to see the exact number of lies a person is destined to tell. If someone lies to him right there in an interrogation, the number visibly drops, instantly piercing any deception. He is, quite literally, the ultimate human lie detector. Detective Moon uses this power to play a brilliant cat-and-mouse game. First, he analyzes that mall footage, figuring out that Number used a swarm of moths drawn to a light to temporarily blind the security cameras during his rope escape. Then, using his red eyes, he interrogates the rescued mother, instantly detecting her lies and confirming that Jihan is actively working with the killer. Methodically, step by step, he tracks down their black van. But the hunter quickly becomes the hunted. In a sudden, incredibly violent collision of powers, Number ambushes the detective right there on the street. With a massive shatter of glass, the vigilante physically yanks the red-eyed investigator directly from his car. These two men, both burdened by the immense weight of their ocular abilities, finally come face to face. And as the dust settles, Number looks down at Detective Moon. But what he sees completely shocks him. An impossibly high number is hovering right over the detective's head. Gripping the investigator tightly, Number asks his signature, bone-chilling question: "What are your last words?" And guys, that is exactly where the story leaves us hanging. So what do you think? Who is the true monster here? And can destiny ever truly be rewritten? Thanks for hanging out for this explainer, and remember to keep your eyes wide open.